What's going on, everybody? This is Rick from Studio Space, and today I'm going to show you how to use the brand new curve fall-off system, which I added to Blender Explorer 2 version 2.16. Let's start off by dragging in one from the asset browser, pressing M, and adding it to a collection to keep things tidy. Press Shift S to center the selection to cursor so that everything is at the world origin. And let's also add, of course, an object that we're going to manipulate. In this case, I'm going to use a plane, scale it up a bit by a factor of 5, and subdividing it a couple of times because I'm going to use the extrude function, and I want to show the fall off of the extrude on the faces. So I need a couple of faces for that. Now let's press M with the object selected. Let's name it plane in this case, so we know where everything is. Go to Explorer tool and load it back in. And we can pin the Explorer tool window. Okay, so first off, let's extrude this on the first level. You can immediately see that it's extruding by a factor of 5. All the faces individually. We can uncheck that. I'm not sure if this shows up on YouTube, but if you check all the individual faces will be extruded. And yeah, in this case we need that. Now, let's first show you what the sphere falloff does. This is already in older versions. You can use a sphere falloff to manipulate the amount of extrusion here. Basically quite simple. And now let's show you what the curve falloff does. We already have the curve falloff in the scene here, but it doesn't seem to be working. And in order to show you why that's happening, I'll go over to the spreadsheet data of Explorer tool. So select Explorer tool, and you can see that we have one instance loaded up in Explorer tool, which is this plane. But for the curve falloff to work, we have to use realized instances, which is an option under performance settings here. So once you press realize instances, instead of the one plane instance, the plane gets realized. That means it's actual geometry in the scene, so it has a lot of vertices and faces, etc. You need this for the curve falloff, and you can already see something happening, of course, here. So how this works, how the curve falloff works, is that a certain point on the curve, magnifies or multiplies the extrusion, and the further away from this point, it lessens the extrusion. If you, of course, use curve falloff on the extrude command here, but you can use it on lots of places, scale, rotation, that kind of stuff. But for this parameter, but for this tutorial, I'm going to use it on the extrude parameter. So we have a factor slider here, and that is that specific point I was talking about. It can slide from 0 to 1. And that will mean it will slide along the curve that we have in our scene, which is, in this case, as you might have seen, a circle. Now let me select the curve falloff here. I can show you the circle that is gets imported into your Blender scene whenever you load in the new Explorer tool. Now, it doesn't have to be this circle. You can make it any curve you want. It can be a straight path. It doesn't have to be a cyclical either. It'll work on basically any curve. And we can also press play, because when the timeline loops and you have a curve factor modifier selected, like loop, for example, it'll make circles for you, depending on the scene time. And you can, of course, slow down this loop if you change the settings of time span from loop 1 here, for example. We can even do it in steps, so we can fill in like 8 steps, and it'll do it in 8 steps. And yeah, that's the beauty of using these modifiers. Now let me set it back to 0 for now. And we can, of course, use different modifiers on the curve falloff here, on the factor modifier. So we can use a sine wave as well, which will ping pong loop between the value of 0 and 1 here, the curve factor. So yeah, lots of possibilities here. We can invert the curve as well. Now this inverts the effect, the falloff effect in this case. Pretty cool. And we can also modify the influence of the curve, as you can see. So I'm sliding it up or down here, which drastically scales up or down the influence of that point along the curve. And there's also a new drop-down menu which has been added to a couple of falloffs. It's a way of clamping the effect, so different clamps will give you different results, and it's just a way to further manipulate the effect. I will do a full tutorial on the clamper as well soon, but for now I want to quickly demonstrate the possibilities of the curve fall off. So let's disable the clamp for now. And like I said, you don't have to be using the curve fall off that comes with the scene. We can delete it, add a new one, add a curve, Shift A, and that imports a path, as you can see. No, I'll refrain from renaming it for now. So we'll go to curve fall off, select the new path I just added, and the sine wave ping pong loop now goes along the straight path, and we can manipulate the path further, of course. So select one of the points, and you'll see it moving along that curve. And yeah, just make sure it's close to the geometry, because it works based on the distance of that curve as well. So pretty cool. Lots of possibilities with this function. The brand new curve fall off, which has been added to Explorer Tool 2.16, a free update for everyone who owns it. And yeah, I hope you like it. It's a very handy curve fall off. It can not only do this on extrude, of course, you can use it on multiple parameters, even on the instances here under explode, split faces, checkbox explode as well. So yeah, lots of possibilities, and I hope you enjoyed this free update for Blender Explorer Tool 2.16.